Hey, Tubies! It's Psychic Bob here. Oops, we're bouncing back here. Good to see you guys. I am so glad you guys are here. Well, Sunday night, and I looked at the clock. It's 8 p.m. on my standards. It is the witching hour. That's right. We are here at the witching hour, and I'm so excited. Looks like we're getting some people over here. Oops, I got to get my chat room going here. Hold on just a second, guys. And we'll see what's going on. We got Lord Tony with us this week, who's looking spry, and Lady Angela's looking fly. I tell you, we're just having an awesome time. Lady Angela, Lord Tony, you guys want to jump in and say hi?
Hi, everybody. Excited for tonight's show. Let's see what happens. Looking forward to all the questions you guys might have or topics you want us to go over. Bob, we got some shout outs. We got Debbie Webby, Laura M, Billy. We got Sean. We got Laura M, Lord Raziel, Katie McKenzie, Gab Hines, Mama Bird, lots of regulars. We're glad to see y'all here. How about you, Tony?
Well, yeah, you took all the words out of my mouth, but yeah. How's everyone doing? I'm glad to be here. It should be a fun show tonight.
Sure.
You know, whenever we get together, we have the best time, don't we? I mean, I think we're all like a big family here. You know, who said there's no quality broadcasting anymore? Well, you know, I tell you, Lady Angela, you know, since our ritual last week, I've been really meditating on the whole energy of magic, and I really feel like what we started in motion has been bringing me a lot of blessings this week. How about you guys?
Absolutely.
Lord Tony, have you felt the power of this last week's ritual?
Oh, I feel it every single day.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, you know, as we're heading into spring, you know, I think that we're all starting to feel a little more alive. You know, I really believe that the wheel of the year gives us power. You know, and as Wiccans, sometimes we forget that we can draw power from the simple things around us. You know, I've known people that have done ceremonial magic, which I think is always fascinating. But you know, a ceremonial magic, it takes like 6 months of preparation before you can even do the spell. And then the spell goes on for like 3 days of activity. And by the time you're done, you're worn out, you know? And this is what I love about the craft. I think in the craft, we get to just jump in and work with what we got, and we're really attuned to the natural energies. And there is power in the elemental powers. I was reading the other day about, it was on a chat room, somebody was talking about, you know, how they're drawing power from the earth, air, fire, and water. And I thought, you know, as Wiccans, sometimes we forget we have to go back to those energies. You know, we sometimes get our own spells, at least I know, get a little complicated. And that's the wonderful thing about the craft. We go back to what's important, you know. I was reading recently, you guys know who Doreen Valiente is, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I love Doreen Valiente. We were talking about her last week because Doreen Valiente was one of the original elders of the craft. And she and Gerald Gardner started. In our ritual last week, we invoked power, or not last week, but our previous week, we invoked power from one of her writings, you know, which was the what was it called, ladies? The Witch's Creed?
Witch's Rune. The Witch's Rune.
I can't remember the name. But, you know, I think that, you know, when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how the whole history of Wicca has really kind of come full circle because, you know, nowadays people are again seeking to know what the elders taught and tap into their wisdom. And a lot of them aren't with us anymore. You know, we've lost Sybil Leek. We've lost Doreen Valiente. We've lost Gerald Gardner.
Scott Cunningham passed.
I mean, you know, we really have been, I think we're at a place where it's like we need to revive that knowledge. I think we do, you know. And I just really been meditating on that. Oh, Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Good to see you.
Bob, a minute ago you were talking about how, you know, most like not most, but a lot of rituals, how they have to prepare for it and all of that. And I wanted to comment on that, that sometimes what I have found is sometimes the stuff you do in the spur of a moment, it just hits you. You need to do something. You feel inspired. You know that if you circle this candle with salt and light or whatever, or just a spur of the moment thing, whatever you think and act on and do a quick ritual like that, sometimes those are extremely powerful, and maybe even more powerful than those big ones. So I want them to not be afraid to use what they find or see. If they see it and they feel inspired, they need to use it, do it, because it's going to have a powerful zap, and it's from you, because you're drawn and you're using yours, and it's all you and your energy using what you have. But that stuff's powerful too, Bob.
I have to agree with you. You know, when I was reading Scott Cunningham's books, every time I read his books, he really is a big believer. He always pushed that idea of like, you can keep your magic simple and it can be amazingly powerful. I agree with that. Lord Tony, you've been working a lot with the shungite crystal and with various, different crystals. And don't you find that sometimes the simple, like just simply, lighting a candle and putting a crystal next to it can do wonders?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially doing candle magic.
Yeah.
The crystal energy alone will help with the magic. It's almost like if you use like a rose, not a rose, clear quartz. It acts like an amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
So magic you got going around, especially with candle magic. Simple magic works great with crystals.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Big point as a generator. You're going to get a lot of goodies out of that.
I agree. And I'm a real believer in this simple magic. And Doreen Valiente, I was reading. In fact, hold on, I got to move some books here. I want to show you another book here by her, and before I get into what I was going to show you. But this is a book I really recommend for those of you who want to learn about one of the elders of the craft. This is a book called The Rebirth. I'm sorry, I got some glare here. The Rebirth of Witchcraft.
Oh.
And this is by Doreen Valiente. This is her own biography about how she came into Wicca and her work with Gerald Gardner, and then how eventually she branched on out of Gerald Gardner after his passing. And what's really interesting is one of the things that she says in this book is that she realizes that magic can be done different ways because, and I'm not knocking on Gerald Gardner, we all love him, but one of the things that she brings up in this book is that she was a little disappointed with Gardner because at one point he became so authoritarian, where it had to be this way. And she said when she left him and branched out, she met other witches who did rituals different than Gardner's, and they were just as potent and powerful and valid. And so she really is a big believer. And I think even she talks about Scott Cunningham in this book. This book was written in the 80s, right when Scott Cunningham was coming on the scene. And I think she even talks about I think it's in this one. I have a few books, but I'm pretty sure it's in this one. She talks about even the concept of self-initiation, that you can, it's like who makes a witch? And she agrees ultimately that, the gods make a witch. So I really recommend this. And I'm showing you this. I had something. Oops, I'm getting feedback here. Can you lower the volume, guys?
Bob, keep your eye on chat. I had to block somebody. I don't want to say the name, but just keep an eye. And I agree with you. When I think of Doreen Valiente, I think about Gardner, and I also think of Buckland. I think he might have ran with them for a little while too, for a short period before he branched off and went elsewhere. But of the magic of old, and I think that my take from Gardner and Buckland is they're a little bit more formal and ritualistic, like how you were saying, authoritarian, where it's kind of very much procedural, and it always follows a certain procedure with certain little differences. Where Valiente's writing, you shared some of her poetry with me on the phone the other day, and it's just beautiful. Some really good stuff.
Well, that's what I wanted to share with some of the people here tonight, or all of the people really, is this is a book I recently just got, literally in the last few days. It's called The Charge of the Goddess. And it's The Poetry of Doreen Valiente. This was published what do they call it? Posthumously, after her death, basically. And what she willed her writings to one of her witch friends. And this person started a trust called the Doreen Valiente Foundation. And they published her works that were unpublished. And you know what? I wanted to read some of the poems here tonight to you guys because I think they're just beautiful. Hi, Magical Fox. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. But there's a poem, you know, since we had our Beltane ritual, this is a beautiful poem called Spring Night, which I think is very magical. And I wanted to read it to you here. So pull up your chairs. We're going to have a little poetry slam. Okay. This is called Spring Night. Silvery flutes in a woodland glade sing to a splashing stream. Elf and fay on this night of May are hailing the full moon's gleam. Owls are calling one to another in trees that are newly green. By the silver light of their goddess mother, the fairy revels are seen. With elfin wings and floating hair and feet that leave no trace, over the bracken and round the trees they glide to their trysting place. Bluebell and celandine blossom there, pale by the moonlight's beam. Wildflowers cover the earth that was bare through the long winter night. Now is this Maytime, now is the spring, and Green Jack's children play, revel they keep while humans sleep, till the first faint dawn of the day. Isn't that beautiful? Did you guys like that?
Very beautiful. Her writing is wonderful and very vivid. You know, I think so. That paints a great image in your mind's eye. Did you like it, Tony? Do you think so?
Oh yeah, I love poetry.
That's wonderful. You know, I think poetry for several years went out of vogue, and I think that we're a sadder culture for not going back to poetry. And I think there's starting to be an appreciation and a revival. I know in my area there are poetry groups that meet and people submit their own poetry. I think it's wonderful. But if you guys like, I'll read one more to you. Would you like to hear another one?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody up to that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here. We'll do, you know, Lady Angela, I think we'll read the one I shared with you the other day.
Yeah, please do.
First Light. This is a beautiful one. Just try to visualize this as you listen, okay? Look to the east, laying first light upon the pearly sky. Excuse me. In the motionless dawn, beginning the beginning of still green leaves, streets washed with silence and jeweled echoes. It will not last long, and yet it has always been and endures forever. Every moment the shapes are altering, and what speeds to the night speeds to the dawn before anyone is up. There are presences walking. Only animals and birds see them on their royal passage, smiling hand in hand, with gold and silver crowns. All down in the valley, the magic path turns into a railway line. The choir of trees is dusted with mortality. The eternal dissolves in time as dawn becomes day. Oh, just gives me chills. I love this. So this is some mystic writing. What'd you say, Lady Angela?
Oh, I said I love it. Hey, Bob, in the chat, you've been asked if you would say something for it. You know, there's volcanoes right now that are going off there in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
They're really having, and some people in our chat, Olive Green mentioned, wondering if you would say a prayer for Hawaii.
I think that's wonderful. You know, It's very shocking when we see earth upheavals like we're seeing. And, we of the Wicca, because we attune to the earth, we should definitely put some energy into healing Mother Earth and protecting all the people there. So let's all just kind of gather and let's just center ourselves for a moment. Let's just close our eyes and find that light within. And as we look within to the light, we invoke the great goddess Gaia, Mother of Earth. We invoke Pele, the volcano goddess. We invoke the Lord of the sky who looks down upon us. And we ask now of the great gods that you find in your wisdom and compassion the ability to heal the earth. We unite with the cries of Mother Earth who feels the imbalance. We of the Wicca and of the purple cord ask now that the great Mother receive our nourishment and love. We send to you the light that you will share with the people of the earth. We ask a blessing on all of those who are in harm's way. May they be protected and guided by the higher forces to let Mother Earth express herself and have the wisdom to step out of her way. Protect the homes and properties that people have worked so hard to build. And may the gods of heaven and earth unite to bring balance to this region. We ask tonight for peace to be restored. We ask for that which has triggered this to be recognized in order that healing might occur. If humans have brought the imbalance that have triggered this, make them aware of their actions and help them to heal what is wrong. Let all there find awakening and come to know the power of the earth. And in so doing, may they again return to reverence. May all of this be accomplished in love and light with harm to none. So mote it.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Well, we do. Our hearts and prayers are with those people who are in that scary situation. That's a good request.
Absolutely. We have a lot of our Purple Core people that are actually in Hawaii too. It's scary. I got chills from it.
Yeah, there's a lot of power going on in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at Hawaii, it's interesting because I've said it before, and those of you who've had private readings with me know, I've always said that Hawaii are the islands are the mountaintops of Lemuria. Ancient Lemuria.
Really?
Yeah. Hawaii is a remaining remnant of Lemuria. And so there's a lot of power there. And when I'm watching all of this, it's, there was an ancient prophecy that Lemuria would rise again. And this may be a sign of the ancient Lemurian energy surfacing now, cataclysmic as it may be. In the ultimate turn of events, I think there could be a blessing come from this.
Well, let's hope, because it's scary. It's definitely scary.
Absolutely.
So, on a lighter note, because of Tony, I now know about Moldavite. And I've been running into people randomly, just in my everyday, that come in and they'll be wearing a jewel, a gemstone or something, a ring or whatever. And of course, I'm always, oh my God, I got to see your earring. Are those opals? Or let me see your thing, your necklace. And I've been running into a lot of people that are wearing Moldavite. And when they say it and then they look at me, because most people don't have a clue what it is. And I'll go, ooh, nice. You have some alien energy going on there. That is awesome. And they just brighten right up because I know about it. And they're like, oh, wow, you're into that. And I'm like, yes, I'm very into that, and we end up becoming Facebook friends and this and that. Or they tell me, oh, I had a star chart and it said I needed at the top a piece of Moldavite to sequence my body. And I've just been running into a lot of people that are wearing and using Moldavite in very etheric ways. And it's just really fascinating. So I wanted to share that with Tony and with everybody. And I'll say, oh, I wanted a piece. I've been seeing them, but it's high dollar from Czechoslovakia. And they said, yes, that's why I only have a little piece or whatever. It's just great.
Isn't that interesting? You know, Lord Tony, I'm interested to hear your thought on this. I think that this is also, interestingly, this awakening to Moldavite is a sign that revelation of the alien presence is getting much closer. What do you think on that, Tony?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so, because the more that energy gets out there, the more the presence is going to happen. And that's why I wear both my favorite stones. Are basically, they're shungite, which, as I was actually told, came from Venus, and then moldavite, which was an extraterrestrial stone to begin with. After it got mixed with Earth from wherever it came from outer space, they say it's Pleiadian energy. So both my favorite stones right there, and I got both of them on me, and I feel that energy all the time.
I love that. See, you know, Lady Angel, I think that's so fascinating how you're seeing it now. And it's interesting because kind of being in the public, like you have your fingertip on what's going on, the pulse of the public. And you know, I'm so happy to hear people are wearing that. I think that as our national consciousness, our global consciousness rises, we're drawing to us more and more help from the cosmos.
Absolutely. I agree. And you know, it's like when you're ready, you'll see. When you're ready to learn, the teacher appears and things like that. And when you learn something, then you start to see it, you know, and you start to use it. And it's just amazing, you know, because the more we know, we start seeing. And I think it's neat because I'm starting to find other witchy people that actually are in my area that have a little streak of witchiness to them, you know, and we'll kind of make eyes at each other and we just know, and they're like, let me go look you up on Facebook, you know. And so it's really fun. I'm starting to make more witchy connections in my everyday life, and we're not quite there where the big W words come out all the way, except for to a few, but other than that, it's kind of exciting, you know.
Isn't that one? It's certainly different than Oklahoma, isn't it?
Oh yeah. yes, that was Bible Belt.
Lady Angela was just in a challenging place.
Yeah. Well, that was right on the Bible Belt, and now I'm kind of like in Hippieville. And so, of course, there's a lot of spiritual twist in there and everything. It's just really neat. So I had to share that.
I have to show something here.
Oh.
Carol Pettis asked last week in the chat, and I didn't see it, and she wanted me to put on the belt that she made.
Oh.
And to see if it fits. I put it on. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
It's styling. I think I even knotted it correctly, and it's got the nice long tassel, which to me doesn't hang down too far, but I like it. Fits good. I'm going to wear it to work.
That's amazing. It's a knight's belt, isn't it?
Say that again, Angela?
It's a knight's belt, isn't it?
Yep.
That's awesome.
It's from King Arthur line, she said.
I'm so impressed. Carol made that for you?
Yep.
That's beautiful.
She does beautiful work.
Carol Pettis is an amazing person, and we've all been so blessed by her. Absolutely. Everybody loves your belt, Tony.
Yeah, everybody's going crazy over your belt. Oh, here we go. Gab Hines has a great question. He said he would like us to talk about psychic attack protection.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the first things to do is just avoid circumstances, and I'd say this seriously, that you could be attacked. What I mean by that is, you know, everybody has it, and even Lord Tony, you probably have seen this in your own house, where kids get all excited and get a Ouija board and start going crazy. You know what I mean? And God bless them. I know kids have a natural curiosity, but I really say Ouija boards should not be marketed to children. Because they're, first of all, most children are very psychic, but they can open doorways. And so when we talk about psychic protection, I think the first thing I want to say is just don't open doorways unless you're prepared to do that, you know, and like having people have access to your ritual tools like Ouija board or crystal ball or scrying mirror is one way you gotta guard those tools. So, you know, one of the things I do is like my black mirror, I'll put a veil over it, you know, so that it's not an open portal. And if I have a Ouija board, I'll put the planchette over on the side. This way I'm just already starting from a safe place. But psychic protection is really, I think, and I mean, we all have different things. Lady Angela has some wonderful spells, which I wanted to talk about. But one of the first things you can do is literally visualize the light. Within you is a beautiful white light. And you can pull that light out and surround yourself with it and make a circle or sphere of light around you. That's, I think, probably one of the best ways to start with protection. And then, I mean, we can go into, you can purify your environment, cleanse your house, so many things. Lady Angela, you've got a number of different rituals, I believe, on that.
Yeah, but the number one, and I do have pages and information on my website about that at Rare Wicca Spells. But the biggest thing about it is, like you said, with the white light, but that's also known as shielding. And at my last job, there was a lot of psychic attack, evil eye and stuff like that going on. And even though they didn't know that they were sending out those energies, I felt those energies. And I had to constantly practice shielding, where I would just, within myself, I would just build that ball of light and expand it and know that as it's expanding, I was invisible to them. Like they could send it out, but it wasn't going to hit me and stick. So shielding is one of the most powerful ways for that. What do you think, Tony? And also wearing black tourmaline.
Yeah, black tourmaline. I actually came across another method. You could actually just picture yourself as being a chrome being.
A what?
Anything, a chrome being. Anything that comes to you that you don't want will literally bounce off of you and reflect back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you visualize your entire body as if you're made of chrome and feel
exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That is good. That's good.
That's amazing. I have to tell you, I think I told you this, Lady Angela. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but a few weeks ago, I was going down the street and I saw a lady coming down towards me, and something just looked off about her, just a little suspicious. And as she approached, she gave me this look, and she was a really strange looking one, and her eye was very weird looking, and her eye hit me. I literally took a hit to the chest from the evil eye. This is the first time I've actually physically felt the evil eye, and I was so shocked by it. Well, luckily I was wearing a pentacle that day, and it seemed to block a lot of it. I always wear a consecrated item on a chain around my neck. Like today I'm wearing my silver chalice, because I'm keeper of the sacred chalice. It's a little silver Wiccan chalice with a pentagram.
Yes. I have my silver book, since I'm keeper of the sacred book. I have it here. Is that beautiful? Sterling silver.
Sacred. Oh, that's lovely.
Yep.
And I believe wearing sacred talismans shield your body also. I was actually with a psychic that I know, another psychic. It was a guy. We were at a shop one day working, doing readings, and this evil lady came in the shop, and she was just always a troublemaker. And she came up to him and I were talking. She tried to come up and try to get free readings from us. And his crystal he was wearing literally shattered.
Wow.
Right where we stand there. And I was there and I got hit with stuff. I was like, oh my God. And afterwards he said, we just got protected, because he said that crystal took the hit.
Oh, wow.
Lady's evil energy. So I think you should always, as part of your shielding, also wear, like Tony suggested, or Angela, black tourmaline, or a consecrated item. Pentacle, could be a crystal, but you should offer that on your altar to purify and bless it, to wear for sacred protection.
Or Sabrina will get you.
There she is. Oh my God. Lady Della was asking about your cat this week, Tony.
Yep.
I told Sabrina that she had to be down here at 7:30.
Oh. And she came. That is cool.
She refused and someone had to bring her.
Oh.
Cats don't listen to you.
Right. Right. Your purpose is just to change their box and feed them.
Exactly.
They're the boss.
Treat them like the goddesses they are.
Absolutely.
So I have a funny pet story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I have a flower garden going, and I planted some onions and some other vegetables, and I made a little fence so my little dog wouldn't get in there. Well, I caught him over there. He's investigating he's smelling, and he's smelling the little sprouts, and he thinks that there's invaders to my perfectly fine dirt garden that he helped me to dig. So he's been sniffing and rooting around and stomping on my little things popping up. And I caught him. I looked out there, and he's standing out there like, Mom, I'm saving our dirt. I'm fixing it. But he's killing all my things. Little turd. So that happened.
Oh.
He's over there stomping down my flowers.
Oh my gosh. You might have to put some crystals around that to kind of recharge them and kind of make him a little less energized. Oh, bless his heart.
Everybody loves your cat, Tony. Your cat's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's one of my rescues. And two of my cats were planned on. We got them. First one was Oreo, the black and white one. Saw him online, and like, I got to have him. And Grayson kind of came along with him. We got a 2-for-1 deal on him, but then we decided I wanted another cat, and this time I wanted a black one. Looked at the Humane Society's website. Sure enough, there she was.
Aw.
And we got her.
That's sweet. People are talking about in the chat about animal familiars, wondering if their pet is a familiar. I always say one of the easiest ways to know if your pet's your familiar is when you're doing witchy stuff, if that pet just comes around you and starts bugging, if you're reading a book and they want in the middle of your lap because they want to be involved, or if you drag out your stuff, set up a ritual, and they're there, they're your magical familiar. And there's other signs too, but that's a sure sign.
Yeah, that's Sabrina. Sabrina will get up into my lap. She'll sit there, look at everything I'm doing, and then Oreo will actually stand on like the outside of, like with my pyramid that I meditate in. He'll stand on the outside of that. Sabrina will be on the inside.
Oh, wow.
Well, how cool is that? Oh my gosh. You should film that, Tony. That'd be a great YouTube video.
Should.
I bet the one that stands on the outside is like being a guard, like guarding it. And the other one is involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I think that's wonderful. Matt Burns just said that he heard that cats can see spirits. I believe that's true. Don't you, Tony?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anytime you see a cat decide they're going to look at the wall, it's usually something they're watching. And if they start walking closer to it, it usually means it's something they don't want in the house.
Yep. Dogs can see them too. Madam Della, Master Psychic Witch, just gave you $20 US, Bob.
Bless you, God, darling. That's so sweet of you. This show really appreciates that, you know. And, you know, we're using the money to fund stuff, to get supplies and, you know, technical stuff. We're trying to improve things. And that donation really helps us. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I am Lord Raziel on the familiar subject says, doesn't most animals see spirits anyways? And yeah, I mean, maybe not every single one, but I think they have a lot more senses than we do. And their eyes are different than our eyes and their senses. And I do know that they know things that we don't and see things we can't, just like children.
Absolutely. Well, you know, like in this poem I read today, I talked about how the owls watch the fae, you know, and the birds watch the fae. But I think animals see as well. Absolutely. You know. Oh, Olive Green has a good question. What is a familiar? You know, we should probably define that because I forget some people are new to the craft and don't know that. A familiar, it's an old English witch term, and it means a familiar spirit, meaning a spirit that you have a connection with. In the old days, a familiar spirit could be any spirit, human spirit or a non-human spirit. These days, a familiar tends to mean an animal spirit that is working with a psychic link to a witch or Wiccan and helps them in their magic. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that?
No, sounds pretty right on the spot.
Yep. Now, me and Tony, we both, and I know you too, Bob, we have other spirits that are also they're familiar spirits. They don't belong to us, but we're connected with them and we're able to interact with them and work with them. Familiar is sometimes another word used for a spirit guide too, because it's a familiar spirit.
Absolutely. Well, any of you have watched my seances, you know, I channel a number of spirits. Fletcher is my main guide. He helps me with all my readings and connecting to the spirit world. But I also have Rose, who's one of my spirit guides, and also Alfred. They're familiar spirits to me.
Now, Bob, you have plant familiars as well, don't you?
I do. I have I can't get him now, but I have what do you call it? Aloe plant who I talk to.
Isn't it Mr. Greenlee?
Mr. Greenlee, yes. And I found him. He was a little baby plant in the trash, thrown in a trash. Oh, made me my heart break. And I brought him to my house and loved him, and now he's like 2 feet tall.
And you have another one too you've told me about. Isn't it a jasmine plant, I think?
Oh, unfortunately, Jasmine went on to the spirit world.
Oh.
Yeah, but she was here for a while.
Gotcha. And your mouse, how is Squashy?
Oh, now I do have a little pet. I believe one of my familiars is a mouse. I have a little mouse that lives in my house, and he's become tame. He literally comes and sits by me, and as I read, he has a little nest near my bed. When I go to bed, he gets in his box. His name is Squashy, and he's definitely a familiar. We have a psychic link. Like I think about stuff, and he literally will appear. It's true. Mice are not scary. He's just a little lone mouse. He hasn't hurt anything. I just love him. So I've decided to keep him as kind of a pet.
Yep. Let's see here.
Amy Bell here. Excuse me. I want to say hi to Amy. I just saw her name go by.
Olive Green says she talks to her plants. Does that mean all of them are familiars?
Well, I think if you feel a real soul connection with the plant, it is a familiar, because most of us walk around, we just ignore the plants. But when you feel like you have a connection and like you talk to them every day, I think you develop that with familiar spirit, Wow.
Amy Bell says trees are magical as she considers them friends. I agree with that. Sometimes if I'm out, like say I go to the river or something like that to go and fish or something, and there's a big, beautiful tree. Well, first of all, I always tell them they're beautiful. If I pass a beautiful tree, even if I'm in a car or on a bus or whatever, and you drive by a beautiful tree, I'll tell it, you're a beautiful tree as it goes by, just because I feel like honoring that. But when I see a big, beautiful one and I'm there where I can run up and hug it, it's a lot of power in hugging a tree. Wouldn't you say so, Tony and Bob?
Oh yeah, I have a tree out in my front yard. It's my favorite tree. I'm not even sure what kind it is, but I wanted to make a staff some time ago. I literally walked up to her and put my hand on her and asked if it was okay if I cut one of her dead branches off instead of turning it into this beautiful staff. And my whole body just tingled when I did that. And so I took that as an affirmative yes and cut the branch off. It's still hanging around down here. It's in the corner right now. I haven't done anything with it yet, but it's here.
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, no, I just said, I think that's wonderful. I love that Tony, reverences the trees and asks for them. And I think, so many times, like so many people, especially not in the craft, I wouldn't say Wiccans do this, but non-craft people just assume they can do whatever they want to a tree. And it makes me sad when I see people abusing plants, because they have emotions and feelings, consciousness.
Here in Colorado, we have a lot of aspen trees, and they are my favorite tree. I remember years ago, I run across one. There's actually, I don't know how they had one in Arizona, but I was walking my dog and I passed this beautiful tree, and the trunk was big and it was white and it was smooth. And I remember the leaves were circles, like the branches came out and the leaves were just circles, like little medallions with a white trunk. And it just fascinated me. It's such a mystical tree. And I never seen one again and never knew what kind it was until I moved here to Colorado. And they're everywhere. And I think they're just so special because of the white trunk is like purity and the circle leaves, it's just very mystical to me, aspen trees.
I love that. But I have that kind of connection with magnolia trees.
Oh, yes.
When I was down where she lives, everybody has magnolia trees. And it's funny, I'm in the same state. I'm not that far away. And there are no magnolia trees where I live. And I don't know why, But maybe I'll plant one out in the park.
Their blooms are gorgeous.
Yeah. Massive. They grow giant, like oaks, like giant oaks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Huge. They have those in Oklahoma.
I need to give a shout out to Amy Diana, who's here tonight. She's here from Scotland, and she stayed up late all the way. It's 2 a.m. in Scotland, and she's with us tonight. So I want to say a shout out to her.
Yep. You know, I love this time of year when the trees are budding and they start showing their colors. There's some beautiful bright magenta colored trees here right now. The leaves are just this beautiful, brilliant magenta. And there's some lavender looking trees, and the lilacs are starting to bud and come into bloom, which are beautiful too. I love springtime. It's just wonderful.
I love it too. You know, as it's interesting. I live right by a little river, and I swear, you know, it's interesting as I'm walking, it's like that river is changing colors as the season changes. Like it's
Oh, wow.
now it's becoming a bright light green, and it's like as the earth is greening, that water is turning green. I just love it. I've been really feeling this change. I tell you, you know, I used to love winter. It used to be my favorite season, but I'm not feeling winter like I used to. Maybe I'm just getting old. But you know, I always say between facelifts and hair dye, you'll never know.
Oh, Matt Burns said a bird dropped off multiple magnolias and spruce seedlings in his backyard. Maybe that's how you'll get your magnolia tree, Bob. A bird will come up and poo them out on your balcony, and you can grow a tree.
I would love that. I love him for bringing a magnolia branch or a blossom. I think that's wonderful. Isn't that amazing?
Maybe he was building a nest with it. Maybe that's how.
But they carry the seeds in the branches and all, so.
Yeah.
Yay. I think that's wonderful. You know, at this springtime also, this is a great time, like Tony was talking about, to think about, you know, renewing things, like getting a staff. And, you know, I think it's a great time, you know, it's getting warmer. We can go out and collect magical tools, you know. I have a whole collection of wands, you know, and I'm going to be going back to my mom's again soon. I'm going to hopefully get some driftwood as it's getting warmer now. I love driftwood for staffs and wands.
Oh, yes. Driftwood is awesome. I have a piece of driftwood I have to show you. I got it from someone I ran into in town, and he finds driftwood and stains it and shellacks and does all this stuff, and he come with the box. He's just someone that when I pass him in town, I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, being friendly. And he come with this box that he had made of these pieces, and he gave me one. This one looks just like a witch hat. And when I saw it, I was like, I have to have that one. And he gave it to me, and it's so cool. Let me grab it real fast.
Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds amazing. I love that. You know, Cannibal Goddess says, what is this, a question here? Cannibal Goddess, try to understand, we're getting a lot of questions. We're not trying to ignore you. Sometimes it's hard for us to see everybody because we got hundreds of people here. So if you have a question, go ahead, please repost it and we'll address it, okay?
I don't see posts from that person because I already blocked them.
Oh, really? Why are they appearing on my screen? That's interesting. They said that they're being ignored.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, they keep arguing with everyone that tries to help them out. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the driftwood. Isn't that cool as all? And here's the other side. So when he pulled this one out of the box, I was like, oh my God, I have to have that one, please. And he gave it to me. And it was so nice of him because it looks just like a witch hat. He was calling it some alien terrain, like it was a mountain terrain on an alien planet. And I said, oh my God, I saw it. And I went, oh my God, that one looks like a witch hat. Wow. And he said, really? You like that one? That's the alien terrain one. And I said, no, it's awesome. He said, then you have to have it. I said, well, thank you. So isn't that cool as all though?
Way cool.
Maybe I could wear it. We'll see.
That's fun. Oh my
God. But
God.
yeah, look at you too. It's cool.
Lady Angela, speaking of wooden items, somebody just had a question. Are you still selling the wooden wands that you showed, the special wands that you have?
I do have some wands on my website. I have a Isis wand that I'm needing to still post, and I kind of fell in love with the other ones that Carol made me, and I ended up keeping them as my own. But I am going to list the Isis one. I told myself I have to sell one of them, so I'm gonna. Yeah, that's a good question because I kind of fell in love with them and kind of kept them. So that's kind of what happened. But yeah. There are wands on my website at rarewiccaspells.com, but they're not the Carol Pettis ones because I fell in love with them.
All right. Well, it sounds like Carol Pettis might be getting some more orders soon here.
Yeah.
I love that. Carol, if you're still here tonight, I need to talk to you. So I'm going to try to call you after the show if you're going to be home.
Oh, so it said that it looks like the sorting hat off of Harry Potter. Well, yeah, it's awesome. I thought maybe because it has these indentions, if I put just the right like crystal here and one here, that would really look neat. I have it sitting on my porch, you know, on a shelf, and I have little bowls of gemstones around it. It'd be neat with a crystal here and one here. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Hey, Lord Tony, I am Lord Raziel said that you talking about Moldavite has really helped them, and they want to say thank you.
Anytime. I'm always here for everybody.
Yay. Lotus Night Ranger said, Bob,
she got you a gift.
Gift. We'll be sitting. Oh, bless your heart, darling. That's so sweet.
Yep.
That's
let's see. Kate McKenzie wants to know what would be our Harry Potter house. I'm not sure what mine would be.
I don't know. I like all of them. I mean, it just depends on the day, you know.
Right.
We're going to have our own house, the Temple of the Order of the Purple Cord.
That would be, yeah, for sure. We're our own house.
Lady Angela and I are waiting to make some few million so we can buy an island and start Avalon. New Avalon will be the island.
Yes, absolutely. And it'd be so great. It would be so great.
What do you guys think? Should we get an island and then we could have a whole commune there and temple to the Wicca? People could be training and developing their magic. I like that.
Oh, here's a great question. Kayla asks, what are some ways to know if it's okay to take a branch from a tree or anything else from a living plant? She's always unsure if it's okay.
Lord Tony, you have a nice recent experience. Why don't you share?
Well, when I did it, I literally did not feel anything negative when I asked. The tingling I got there wasn't anything. I think you would actually feel bad. If the tree didn't want you to take something from it, you would probably not get an answer, or it would give you a negative feeling of some sort. Mine, it was a very positive, tingling feeling. Like, thank you for asking. Yes, you can have this branch. So it was already dead. I explained that it would make the tree more beautiful if this dead branch was removed, and that I'm going to turn it into something useful. And I took it as a yes.
I agree. You know, I've seen flowers before that I just would love to cut and take home. And whenever looking at it and asking if it's okay to cut the flower, the plant let me know that it would hurt it. You know, and I felt like I'm going to leave that one there. You know, I'm just going to leave that one there. Or a branch with blooms on it, you know, and you think, oh, I want to take this, and you ask the tree, and it lets you know that that's going to hurt it, and you go. Or it does exactly like Tony said, wonderfully, he said that. So I got that bad feeling before that it would hurt the tree. That's how it communicated it to me, and so I left it be. And maybe placed a coin or a gem I'd poke in its soil as a gift, just for, you know, a blessing.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, when we have a conscious interaction with nature, you know, we're really paying attention, we won't go wrong. You know, I think it's so important. You know, I wanted to address something also. I got a few hate letters from my video the other day where I went to CVS. And for those of you who've seen that, there was a section where I was walking in an area where there was trash. And some people a few people wrote me personal letters. And they said, you know, they basically said I was a hypocrite. Like, they were really nasty in their private letters. And they said, you're a hypocrite. You talk about loving nature, but you left the trash in the woods. And this is something that I think we really want to discuss. I'm all for conserving the environment, protecting the plants, and but you know where I live, so you guys probably need to understand this. In a lot of areas of the country, the parklands are oftentimes near areas where a lot of drug dealers, at least in my area and some other people's areas, are prevalent. And in my area, people say, well, just go grab the trash and pick it up. Well, when I was doing that video, I didn't actually have gloves on. And in our area, there's people who do heroin. And so sometimes heroin needles are among the trash. And I actually have a friend who tried to be environmentally conscious, and she went and grabbed trash, and some of the trash she picked up had blood on it, and she got exposed and actually contracted hepatitis from exposure to blood. And so that's why in that video, I didn't just go grab the trash, because a lot of people are asking me about that. Like, why didn't you do that? But where I live, it's actually dangerous to do that. It's sad, but it's just the truth.
Wow. It just hurts my heart to hear about you getting hate mail, Bob, because you do such a wonderful service for us. You take so much time out of every one of your days to make videos and do readings, and your readings really make a difference in people's lives. What you do is so honorable, and you're so humble about it, and you dedicate so much of your time to us, and it's always a positive message. It's always full of love and light. So it just hurts me when I hear about people sending hate mail to you, because there's just no reason for it, and it's sick. It's really sick.
Well, these were not regulars at my channel. These were just people, I think, drifting through who never watched. But it really surprised me, But anyways, I bring that up because, like the other question about, how do you know when to cut a branch? It all comes back to our conscious connection. And I can tell you, like when I was looking at those plants, I did feel compassion. I wish I could have done more for them, but we do what we can, And I think raising the awareness of it is a step that's valuable in and of itself, All of us of the Wicca, I think, are stewards of the earth. And even if we like I couldn't pick up that trash, we can draw people's attention to it so that they're mindful of it, That starts the process.
I agree. Holy cow, look at the time.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I think we enter a time warp when we come here, don't you? It's like we blink and everything just flies. Were there other questions, Lady Angela? I want to make sure not to miss any.
I have to see, but I discovered I kind of like looking through the hat like this. Is kind of neat. What do you think? No. Let me see. No.
You guys, can inanimate objects be familiars?
Hmm.
Well, let me put it up. I don't believe an inanimate object can be, but I believe a spirit that you connect to can use an inanimate object as a touchstone to connect with it.
Oh, yes.
So in a sense, an inanimate, I can't talk today, object can be a vehicle for a spirit. It itself may not have life in the conscience sense, but the spirit that comes to it can.
I know all three of us have little things, whether it's a stone or a trinket. I know Tony for sure, and I do, that have familiar attachments to them, and we're able. It's just kind of like a foothold to the. Tony, maybe you could explain how that works.
I don't know. Usually, it's if you can get a spirit, and a lot of times you can get them bound.
Right.
They're voluntarily bound, their energy to an object that it acts as kind of I want to say like a light to them.
Or strength.
It's like if you put an object in a dark room and there's like millions upon millions of souls in there, but this one object will act as a beacon to them, and they can actually find their way back to it when you call on them.
Yeah. It's kind of like a foothold from their world to you, kind of like you having their cell phone number, and exactly. When you hold that object, you're able to connect with them, so Absolutely. Inanimate objects in that way can help you to connect with your familiar, but you don't necessarily have to have that object to connect with them. It just helps you.
Right. Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, in the old days, in the old traditional craft, they used to name their ritual tools. Like they would get, like have their wand, and they'd actually give a name to the wand and speak to the wand, you know. And so it was believed that a spirit would attach to the wand to empower it. And they do that with their athame and with their pentacles. Each tool had a kind of a familiar attached to it. So that's something as well.
That's interesting because, you know, way back, like when the witch trials were going on, those witches there, they would summon a lot of spirits, and you're right, they would attach it to that, and this one would go out and do their bidding and stuff. That's really interesting. You said that they would charm it to an object. That's neat.
Yeah. Shadowlander just said, he said, my guitar might have a familiar of mine attached to it. Very probable, you know. And see, you know, when we, like, for example, when you're doing music, that's a great form of energy transfers, because music, I feel, is a form of channeling. And so definitely if you have a musical instrument, you know, you could have a spirit attached to it that's drawn to that power that will help you. So yeah, absolutely.
You know, in the same sense or the same area, say you pick up used items like at a yard sale or a thrift store, which we love to do. That's why it's also good for when you get something that's used, clean it, wash it down, maybe say a prayer over it, but definitely clean it really good to get rid of that residual energy, because it might have an attachment to it. And if you bring in a used item and all of a sudden some stuff starts going kind of haywire, could have had an attachment to it. So always cleanse those kind of objects, or with incense smoke, run it through some smoke, something to cleanse it and refresh it, make it new and yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm telling you, we're getting at the end of our hour. I don't know where the time goes. I swear I blink and it goes by. But, you know, I want to again say thank you to all of you come out tonight. If you're interested in this book, again, I'm going to show it to you. The Charge of the Goddess, the Poetry of Doreen Aliente, and also her life story in The Rebirth of Witchcraft. Both books I highly recommend. And, you know, we encourage you guys, you know, don't just, you know, wait on us to teach you. Explore, go out, find books. And when you come to the show each week, you can bring the new things you've learned. And we'd love to hear what you're learning as well and your ideas. Because, you know, we're all learning and growing, you know. So I got to say thank you. Thank you to all of you come out tonight. It's been so wonderful. And I am so pleased and honored by your support. I want to give another shout out to Madam Della, Master Psychic Witch, who's been a very kind sponsor of our program, and we really appreciate the support. Thank you. Lady Angela, Lord Tony, you guys want to talk?
I'd like to thank everybody for being here and for joining us in our prayer and blessing we send out to Hawaii and to the earth energies. And thank you guys for all being here. It's always fun. We always look forward to it.
Veronica, I love you too, darling. Blessings. Thank you.
Yeah, good night, everybody. This is a fun show. Yeah, this went by really fast. So I'm just going to say, if you guys wanted some angelic healing, you know, just you Google me at Lightbringer's Angel, and you'll come right up on it. Olive Green had some nice things to say about me earlier in the chat. So if you want to go back and check out what she said, maybe consider some healing. Go for it.
Well, we're going to have Tony's link. It'll be in the info box below this video when it's finished processes. So you'll have his direct link to his site, you know.
Oh, yeah. And go and check out my website at rarewiccaspells.com. And don't forget to use coupon code Spirit Channel, all one word, Spirit Channel, for 10% off of your order every time.
Thank you so much, Lady Angela. And that's right. All of the members here of the Order of the Purple Cord and followers of my channel, you get a special discount at rarewiccaspells.com. Again, we'll have the link to Lady Angela below. And if some of you are out there, you've been waiting for a spiritual reading, go ahead and contact me. I have a few openings left for this upcoming week. And you can reach me at my office number, 571-483-2112. or you write to me at my email, readings@robert-hickman.com. That'll be in the box below, as well as my website, which is www.robert-hickman.com. So we look forward to hearing from you. I'd love the chance to read for you. For those of you who are new, private reading with me, it's you and me one-on-one for an hour. We cover everything: past, present, future, spirit guides, messages from beyond, your life mission, you know, your karmic connections, all that, and answer all your questions. So we cover a lot of stuff. And I'd be honored to have the chance to sit down with you for a 1-hour private session. And we do that by phone, Skype, or in person. So look me up. Well, guys, we are coming to the close of our time, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. I love you guys. Be back here tomorrow at Spirit Channel. It's Monday. And you know what that is? Well, what's tomorrow, Monday, Lady Angela?
Horoscopes.
That's right, horoscopes. So be here. I'm going to have your horoscopes. We're going to spin around our big zodiac wheel. So be here tomorrow, and we'll have more on that. You guys are the best. Keep it here at Spirit Channel. Hope you'll help us out. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. Go subscribe to Lady Angela and Lord Tony. Do you guys want to give your YouTube channels real quick?
Mine is Angela McAllister, Rare Wicca Spells.
Anthony Lightbringer, all one word.
There you go. So follow them on YouTube. Be part of their scene. We're all here together, and we're a team. You guys are the best. Carol, if you're still there, Carol Pettis, I'm going to try to connect with you on Skype if you got that going. And if you don't, I'll see you on phone. Either way, we'll connect tonight. Guys, thank you so very much. I love you. Sending blessings to all of you. And keep it here at Spirit Channel. And we'll see you back here. And until then, may you always blessed be.